Boys learn in a different way than girls. Boys learn by an active engagement, and they learn by being a part of a group, right? We're going to work together here in an environment, a small classroom. What we see at our school as a little bit of a reversal is that boys are more willing to try arts. And I think that's something that's very unique at a boys' school, especially a place like Trinity-Pawling. We have some signature programs that are designed specifically for our boys. So there's a lot of that real world experience of working. I will say that those two particular distinctive programs have really boosted our matriculation in college. There are not very many boys' schools in the United States remaining. It's certainly the more traditional boarding schools like at Trinity-Pawling. We are very unique in that sense. One of the biggest things that I think that is a common misconception is that a boys' school is all just jocks and it's bullying and it's guys that are macho. In fact, it's the reverse of that. And having worked at a co-ed school, there was significantly more bullying at a co-ed school than there is at a boys' school. And the reason is that our boys have nothing to show off for, right? They're not trying to prove how tough they are to somebody. They don't need to put somebody down to make themselves look better. They're actually just able to support each other. And within that, boys feel supported. Boys feel like they belong. They're able to grow. When boys are older and they go and they're trying to meet a girl and take her on a date, they're never going to put themselves out there if they don't have one thing. And that one thing is confidence. If boys do not have confidence, they will never put themselves out there. At Trinity-Pawling, boys develop confidence in the classroom, in the sense of self, athletically, from an art standpoint. And when they have that ability to have a more in-depth conversation and they feel confident in who they are and that self-awareness, that's when they can put themselves out there and talk to girls. And our boys do go see the girls of all the 5 girls' schools that are around us. And we have the traditional events of prom and dances and pep rallies. We do have all of those things. But one thing I do notice is that our boys, when they do go talk to girls, they're respectful, they're confident, they can hold a conversation, they make great eye contact. And that is something that I think in this world is irreplaceable for our boys. What I will say is that in my experience of going to boarding school, I did not take risks from the arts and the theater areas. I was nervous to do so in front of girls, to be quite honest with you. I mean, if my voice cracked in front of a cute girl that I thought was the girl that I wanted to hang out with, I would have died. I never took those risks. I never tried those things. And I regret not trying those things. At a place like Trinity-Pawling, our boys do feel confident to try those things. What we see at our school as a little bit of a reversal is that boys are more willing to try arts, right? They're more willing to try woodworking. They're more willing to try being a part of one of our rock bands or bands on campus because there's not that fear of failure. And I think that's something that's very unique at a boys' school, especially a place like Trinity-Pawling, that our boys are willing to try those things. And when you try those things, 1, you learn if you like them, but 2, it's something that you get to add to your resume, which your resume as a student is what is going to colleges. And it's just as important to be able to tell a college, hey, I tried and I failed at being a part of a band. Let me tell you about it. That's an experience that a college wants to understand, how you adapted to those experiences, how you changed and how you grew from that, right? Learning experience. Ultimately, our boys feel a little bit more free to try those things. That's how our theater, arts, and music program are as strong as they are and as well attended as they are because our boys have less of a fear of failure and they want to try it. We do a drama. We will also do a musical every year. We do a couple of different rock concerts. We don't have a full orchestra on our campus, but we do have individual bands that students will join and they will perform either cover songs or original songs that they have written, and obviously we'll play for our students too. Typically a raucous crowd, the entire theater being full and kids going wild as though that they're a football game or a hockey game cheering their friends on. A very similar atmosphere. There's an appreciation for the arts at a high level at Trinity-Pawling. The Citizenship Institute in particular, that institute on Saturday morning is heavily driven towards understanding our students' place in the world individually and as a school community, and understanding how they can support our local area and or greater community here in the region of the Hudson Valley. That's one way that we specifically have designed our learning and our programs to have those students support those local areas and local students in terms of providing tutoring services to some younger kids, or helping out clean up the side of a highway, or helping out weed a baseball field before the beginning of the season. There are a ton of ways that our students, and the privilege that they have to be able to be a part of that community and share that. Ultimately, as you dig further into beyond the walls of Trinity-Pawling and the village of Pawling, New York, students are able to recognize their place in the world. And that is what allows them to be able to visit and appreciate a city like New York City. Or when they get back home, appreciate being a part of a community, whether they're small or a little bit larger of a city or town. That's what our students are able to do. But we have designed that institute to specifically address that understanding of how to be a part of a community. We have some signature programs that are designed specifically for our boys, our institutes for active learning. We have an entrepreneurship, citizenship, leadership, and environmental stewardship. Every Saturday, our boys are going to be exposed to one of those 4 areas that will continue to rotate throughout the year. The second specific distinctive program that we have is our winter session. And that takes place between the end of Thanksgiving and the beginning of our winter break, typically a 14 to 17 day period. Our winter session is comprised of 3 different parts. You have a winter project for students in our 7th through 10th grade. There's around 15 different projects. Our students will get to select one. Magically, boys that have autonomy, or they get to select those particular projects, they have more engagement. They are more excited about that. Because when boys choose to do something, they tend to like it more. Our juniors for that winter session will do what is called our Global Collaborative Challenge. They'll be assigned into a group of 5 or 6 boys. They will work together on a world problem that is seemingly impossible to solve, and that will culminate in a 12-minute presentation. It is a hard stop at 12 minutes. And that is the challenge, to be concise and be consistent with your messaging. And then lastly, as a senior, you would do a senior independent project. And there is a wide range of what our boys will do, from shadowing doctors to shadowing lawyers to doing a charity hockey game or charity spike ball tournament, raising money for awareness. We've also had students that have written their own plays and produced their own plays. We've had students that have developed their own art portfolios. We have students that have started businesses that are still going today during those independent projects. And that's something that students need to develop, that sense of self, and find what those gifts and talents are, which go back to that mission of being able to explore those new ideas and new things, especially during those institutes on the weekend, to then allow them to try something new. There's a lot of that real world experience of working. I will say that those 2 particular distinctive programs have really boosted our matriculation in college. Boys learn in a different way than girls. Girls and boys' brains, when they are in teenage years, are vastly different. Girls' brains, generally speaking, develop at a much faster rate, and their brains are typically fully developed by the age of 17 to 18 years old. Boys' brains are fully developed, generally speaking, between the ages of 22 to 30. That is a huge gap. And what does a fully developed brain have the ability to do? It has the ability to compartmentalize. It has the ability to stay on task. It has the ability to stay focused. It has the ability to multitask. That's something that is really important for a high school student to be able to do. Well, because we're able to teach boys how they learn best. Boys learn by an active engagement. And they learn by doing, they learn by being a part of a group. That we're going to work together here in an environment, a small classroom, but we're going to then split up and say, okay, you 3 over here, we're going to have you compete against this 3 over here in this group project. And that's what boys are drawn to, is kind of that collaborative, but also a little bit of competitive work. All of our classes are designed to engage boys in that factor. Beyond that, we get outside the classroom. We are going to be building things on campus. We're going to be working on campus. One of our most unique classes that we had this year was a Spanish class. Instead of sitting in the classroom, they were able to build a set for our play, but they had to do it while exclusively speaking Spanish. Now, talking to those boys after they finished that term, they said, I learned more Spanish this term than I ever have my entire life, but they also contributed to the play. That's how boys learn. And they learn by that project-based learning, which is not a project, but it's an idea or a curriculum pedagogy of how boys learn.